The Weeping Swan, the sequel to the successful visual novel The Hungry Lamb, is releasing this year, so I think this is the right opportunity to talk about Chinese visual novels. Chinese visual novels don't focus as much on romance as Japanese visual novels do, although some do exist. However, the number of noteworthy romance visual novels is still quite limited. Additionally, I've noticed that sexual content is far less common in Chinese visual novels compared to Japanese ones due to several factors. First, pornography is severely restricted in China, with many crackdowns carried out by the CCP. In the 80s, pornography was seen as part of a broader bourgeois influence from the West, termed spiritual pollution. This led to the anti-spiritual pollution campaign in 1983, which contributed to why most eroge and pornographic material in China is typically shared underground rather than sold in public storefronts as in the West. Despite that, I still spot some visual novels with optional adult content. They upload those optional content on the famous Japanese website DL Site. Taiwan, on the other hand, does not have restrictions regarding adult content. As a result, Taiwanese developers have the same freedom as Japanese developers to include age scenes in their games. This means we may see more eroge titles originally written in traditional Chinese rather than simplified Chinese. The second factor is that gaming in China is primarily mobile-based. Many successful Chinese game companies started as mobile game developers before expanding into the PC market. Mobile gaming is extremely popular in China due to its profitability and accessibility, especially for people commuting on public transport. While this trend is common in many countries, it is particularly dominant in Asia, where work schedules are typically very demanding. Since installing 18+ patches on mobile is next to impossible, I have yet to see any game containing explicit content on storefronts. Therefore, there cannot be optional content like on PC. Conversely, this may help developers reach a broader audience. These factors have contributed to most romance visual novels being reduced to short mid-tier stories. Some exceptions stand out, which offer lengthier experiences comparable to basic Japanese visual novels. However, these remain outliers rather than the standard due to the higher production cost. In recent years, Chinese video games as a whole have gained global popularity thanks to mainstream gacha games and big-budget productions. This has given companies the freedom to experiment. I've noticed an increase in otome gacha games with titles like Tears of Famous and Love Brush Chronicles. I played these games when I didn't have access to my PC and found them to be very well produced with impeccable voice acting, immersive CGs, and excellent sound design. Some are so well received, they even received anime adaptations by Japanese anime studios. Since then, I've been paying more attention to Chinese visual novels. More and more titles are being released in English. Proper English, that is, English translations for smaller scale projects can be clunky at times. Yes, Chinese visual novels aren't as highly rated as Japanese ones overall. This is likely due to the quality of their stories, which don't yet match Japan's decades of storytelling experience. However, Chinese visual novels are still in their infancy as a competitor and will only improve from here. Popular games like Christmas, Tina, and The Hungry Lamb are helping Chinese visual novels gain more attention. Some titles I have yet to play but find interesting are Noctuary and Murders on the Yangtze River. In fact, there are tons of indie titles for me to explore, many of which are fully voiced, which motivates me to continue learning Chinese. Many lengthy Chinese visual novels are overshadowed by Japanese ones, which I find unfortunate. despite their value, they struggle to gain recognition, and a whole corner of Steam remains hidden despite offering English translations. During the recent spring sale, I picked up Tricolor Love Story and the No Existence of You and Me. If we include gacha games, Reverse 1999 stands out with its insane production quality and engaging story. From my perspective, China is an up-and-coming force in the visual novel industry. They have been exposed to visual novels just as much as in the West. Given that Chinese is a common language for visual novel translations, this gives them the opportunity to introduce fresh perspectives to the medium or even innovate beyond traditional visual novel conventions by blending different game genres and art forms. That said, I don't think Chinese creativity will be fully unshackled due to strict regulations on audiovisual productions in China. However, given that Chinese games are currently outperforming many Western titles, there is still hope for great things to come. I hope I was able to shed light on some of these titles because they deserve more attention. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.